I now hand the conference over to Mr. Abhijit Mitra from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, and good morning to all the participants, and special thanks for joining in early on a Monday morning. We have today with us Mr. Sunil Nalavadi, CFO of VRL Logistics, to discuss Q3FY21 results conference call. So without any further ado, I hand it over to Mr. Nalavadi for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Abhijit. Good morning to all. I am Sunil Nalavadi here, CFO of VRL Logistics Limited. And this is earnings call of Q3 for the financial year 2020-21. I would like to mention here that even during the tough time of the pandemic, the company's management proactive steps ensure that the business operations are more than normalized during this quarter by showing the growth in turnover and also achieving highest number of EBITDA as compared to our recent past results. The growth in turnover is on account of increase in goods transport business, which is major and key business segment of the company. The goods transport revenue is increased by around 11% from 452 crores to 501 crores in this quarter as compared to the last year. The increase in goods transport turnover is on account of increase in tonnage by around 1% and increase in total realization per ton by around 10%. And the growth in EBITDA of the company is on account of increase in EBITDA of goods transport segment by around 61%. From 61 crores to 97 crores, and percentage to total income is increased by around 6% from 13% to 19.5%. The increase in EBITDA margin is mainly on account of better improvements in realization per ton, which has taken care of increase in operational costs, including the drastic increase in fuel rates during this period, and also the better control on employee costs, which has been decreased by around 3.77%. From 18.46% to 14.68% to the revenue. Apart from this, the other costs that have been reduced as a percentage to income are the vehicle maintenance cost, which is reduced by around 1.6%, and the rent expenses, which is reduced by around 1%. The other segment of the company, that's bus operations, is still in the process of recovery, and hoping that this segment will also turn its operation to at a normal level soon. When we compare our performance on quarter-on-quarter basis, the total revenue of the company is increased by around 29% from 441 crores to 568 crores. The increase in revenue is again contributed by the goods transport segment, which is increased by around 23% from 407 crores to 501 crores. And increase in bus operation by around 210% from 16 crores to 52 crores. The entire increase in goods transport revenue is on account of increase in tonnage and maintain the realization per ton at same levels. The increase in passenger revenue is mainly on account of increase in number of passengers travelled. The EBITDA of the company quarter-on-quarter basis increased by around 16% from 89 crores to 103 crores. And percentage to total income is decreased by around 1.97% from 20% to 18.28%. The changes in EBITDA is on account of increase in, again, goods transport EBITDA, which has increased by almost around 22% from 79 crores to 97 crores, and maintained the EBITDA percentage at around 19.5%. We are in a position to maintain the EBITDA margin in spite of increase in diesel price due to proportionate reduction in fixed costs due to increase in tonnage. The main fixed expenses, that is employee cost, again decreased by around 1.31% from 15.99% to 14.68%, and the rent expenses by 1.39% from 2.5% to 1.19%. The same is compensated by increase in lorry hire charges by around 2% because of the increase in tonnage, the more kilometers also covered by the outside vehicles. And increase in tire and flaps by around 1.77%, and the diesel cost is maintained at around 27% to the total income. The EBITDA of passenger segment is increased by around 485% from -1 crores to positive of around 4.7 crores, and percentage to total income increased by around 16% from -7% to 9%. The increase in EBITDA margin is on account of, again, percentage of fixed expenses to the revenue have been reduced due to increase in revenue from the bus operations on account of increase in number of passengers traveled. With these results, the YTD performance of the company is in a position to recover the losses incurred during the first quarter of this financial year and report a net profit of rupees around 8 crores. On account of lower capex during the year and also the good earnings cash profits of rupees 128 crores during this 9 months period, the net debt of the company is reduced to rupees 64 crores as of 31st December 2020. Considering the lower debt and to reward shareholders during this period, the board of the company has approved to buy back 20 lakh shares from the open market with a maximum buyback size of rupees 60 crores. With this, I will conclude my initial remark, and now the session will open if any questions from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone wishing to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is on the line of Ashwini Agarwal from Ashmore Investment Management. Please go ahead.
Hi, congratulations on a good set of numbers. Quick question is that, obviously the control on costs has played a significant role in improving profitability, and I'm thinking that, some of these costs will come back as business gets back to normal later this year. So could you help me understand your rent renegotiations or your rent savings? How far are they sustainable? And similarly, your employee savings, how far are they sustainable? That's question number 1. And the maintenance costs on your fleet that have come down, is it a short-term feature where you've controlled on a certain amount of discretionary maintenance, or is it something structural?
Yeah, one is about the reduction in employee cost. Yeah, definitely this is going to be a sustainable reduction. This is mainly on account of what we did during this period is we studied the thread-based study of each and every operational process. And wherever there are possibility of improvement, actually most of the processes have been mechanized. And also we studied the branch-wise performance depending on the tonnage growth of each branch and how the operation levels at each branch and transshipment hub. So depending on this process study, we have taken a call of some reduction in the employees numbers. So this is going to be a continuous process again, and definitely this is a sustainable reduction, I can say. And with respect to the reduction in rent expenses, yes, we negotiated with some of the landlords or the property owners, and some of the people have expressed their commitment up to 31st March. After that, again, the normal rent will come up. But once the tonnage starts growing up at this level, so definitely the percentage of these expenses will be maintained as a percentage to the revenue. And with respect to vehicle maintenance concern, vehicle maintenance again similarly, some of the scheduled maintenance actually we have changed certain timelines, and this is again sustainable for some of the time, some of the period. And in the meantime, we have reduced some of the old vehicles, the scrap. We have reduced scrap some of the vehicles also during this period, around 105 vehicles. So that's on account of that also the maintenance cost has come down. So again, it is a sustainable one, we can say.
Okay. Thank you so much. And one more question, sir. If you could help me understand how are the passenger numbers on the bus side looking in January, for example, over December, in December or November? Is it sort of a growth that you're witnessing, or is it sporadic, a few weeks up, few weeks down kind of a thing?
Yeah, it is more or less in line. The numbers are like in a quarter 3. there are no substantial improvement still now. And moreover, what's happening now, we are looking for some again the rules have been changed about pandemic and all these things about COVID-19 rules. Now people are coming to move travel. So definitely we are hoping that the things may recover, say after March, you can say.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Panchmatia from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, and more to do with our tonnage growth. As far as what industry has been posting, just to get your view that why this tonnage growth appears to be slightly lower compared to the industry. Is there something to do with SME recovery, or how are we now seeing being into already Jan is through? So are we seeing tonnage growth getting back to those 3 to 5% levels? Any view on the same would be helpful.
No, basically, when you see the moment, say from after the lockdown was announced, the industry was badly impacted during the first quarter, the whole economy. Then later on, there were some recovery during the second quarter, and third quarter definitely we did tonnage more than the normal tonnage as compared to this period. Even though year-on-year comparison, see last year there were no such disturbances, there are no such incidents. But in current year, in spite of these disturbances, we crossed the last year tonnage. And about just you mentioned about SME and other things. See, some of the key segments, say like textile business, still we are not at a level what we used to do even earlier. So there actually still improvement has to happen. And whatever growth we achieved in this difficult period, this is on account of addition of more number of new customers. So still the business from the existing customer or from the existing sector, still it has to come at a normal level.
Okay. So, sir, just to get your view, what percentage would be textile of our overall revenue, and the other any other flavor around top 2 or top 3 commodities which have been kind of contributing to our overall top line?
So basically, when it comes to textile, earlier we used to do around 15 to 16% of total tonnage. Now still we are at around 12 to 13% of the tonnage is coming from this segment. So still that segment has to come with a normalcy by increasing around 4 to 5% in the tonnage. And see again, in spite of adding more number of new customers even in the textile business, it is unable to contribute to the equal percentage of what that segment used to contribute earlier. And other segments, if you see, one is about overall manufacturing, the finished goods, still those commodities are not coming up to the mark. But there are good improvements in this agriculture commodities, especially the agriculture related pesticide movement, or even some of the movement of food grains and all seeds movement. Those are all improved. Even some of the equipments related to these agricultural activities.
So, sir, do we mean to say that the next bigger contributor in the overall pie would apart from textile would be agriculture or pesticides?
Yeah, agriculture earlier it used to be around 4 to 5%. Now it has been increased to around 7 to 8%. And rest of the segments were not major changes.
Okay. Sir, wanted your view regarding the whole scrappage policy which has been kind of contemplating into announcing the same. Sir, your thought process around the same, how it will help to get the market balance coming FY22-23, or what more could have been done to kind of benefit an organized player like VRL?
Now, with respect to scrappage policy, there are two things. One is it is a voluntary scrappage policy for the vehicles which are older by 15 years for the commercial vehicles. And along with that, there was another announcement with respect to charge of green tax on the vehicle taxes. If you compare these two, the voluntarily vehicle scrappage, again, it depends on the fitness certificate what the authorities are going to issue. And depending on those fitness certificates, again, the government is going to put a green tax on the vehicle taxes. So compared to these two, VRL per se is concerned, we do not have a much problem because our vehicles are always used to maintain at a updated level. And even during the fitness certificate, as of now, we are not facing any issues. Because before the vehicle is going for fitness, actually we do all whatever maintenance is required. And based on our preventive maintenance policy, the vehicles are at a much updated conditions. And since it is a voluntarily, depending on how the government will react, how it will notify about different aspects in the scrappage policy, accordingly we will take a decision. And another aspect of the government with respect to charge of green tax, which is applicable even the vehicle which is older for 8 years, and they have mentioned the percentage in the range of around 10 to 25%. So as of now, we don't have much clarity to comment more on this. And further, the impact on the industry will be very high because one is much of the operators or much of the vehicle owners, the maintenance, their maintenance of the vehicle is one question mark. And other thing is about the whole industry is having the large number of older vehicles, the aged vehicles. So since it is a voluntarily, depending on the fitness certificate, again the vehicle scrappage may come. But it is very difficult to say as of now because there are no clear notifications from the government.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Manish from General. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thanks for the opportunity, madam. Sir,
Yeah.
my first question was about how much of our load originates from south of India, sir?
From south, it is around 40%.
40%. And from other states, other north or west, the rest is from north or west?
North and west is around 25% each, and rest of all from other parts.
Okay, 25% each. Sir, another question was about this tonnage. Sir, the tonnage has only increased by 1% year on year, but you
Yes.
told that the price realization has gone up by 10%.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on this, sir?
No, basically what happened, say about tonnage growth, it is again the comparison of the tonnage what we carried. And with respect to the freight rates are concerned, after the pandemic, see from April 1 itself, actually we have increased the rate because the operations were at not at a normal level. So at that moment, actually, we increased rate at around 10%, and that has been continued for the entire period.
Sir, is this sustainable, sir?
Yeah, definitely. See, even after the second quarter also, we thought that there will be some reduction in the prices, but still we have maintained in quarter 3. So we are hoping that definitely it is sustainable.
And sir, the contribution from biofuel has come down in this quarter. What is the reason? And how much does the biofuel cost less than the diesel?
Biofuel is cheaper by almost, say, on an average around 6 to 7 rupees per liter. And during this quarter, it is reduced because of the temperature levels. Say, if temperature go beyond certain limit, go down beyond certain limit, we cannot use biodiesel. That's one of the reasons why the quantity has been reduced in this quarter. So again, depending on the temperature, say for example in North India routes, we have not used biodiesel in this quarter. But again, it will start from this, from January, it has been already started now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in this conference, we request you to limit your questions to two per participant only. The next question is from the line of Kripa Shankar NJ from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. I had a question on our focus going forward. So are we going to place more emphasis on tonnage growth, given that we had added in capacities in Surat, and we also aim to expand our operations? So is there going to be more focus on tonnage wherein we will have some flexibility towards pricing? That's my first question.
Yeah, basically, see what our thought process is very clear, and see we are more concentrating on the increase in tonnage. That's why even on quarter-on-quarter basis, if you see the tonnage growth is around 20+%. So basically, how we are planning is basically we are studying on the commodity movements of each locations, and always we are seeing that the from and to tonnage from a particular location should be on more or less on an equal basis, so that even utilization of the vehicles will be on a better level. Because of this reason, we are conducting a lot of area managers meeting and even branch level meetings, just to ensure that actually to capture more and more new customers to increase the tonnage. The guidelines or the thought process from the management is very clear to the downline to work very hard to increase the tonnage. That's how actually even we are doing from the even during the pandemic season also we traveled across the country to acquire more and more new customers and more and more concentration of the commodity market, to see that both from and to tonnage should be in particular area, it should be more or less equal, so that the utilization of the vehicles will be improved, and moreover we can capture more number of customers also. To do this activity, depending on the commodity movements of those locations, yes, wherever possible we are increasing the rates also, and wherever possible we are giving concessions in the rate also. But this thought process is very clear from the top management to the branch level operational people, so that the things should be moved in very right way.
Okay. So given, can just a follow up on that. So can you specify as to what would have been the average utilization of trucks in 3Q versus 2Q?
Q3 versus Q2?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Q2, yes, definitely there were underutilization. But what we did is we have not used the available vehicles itself as an underutilization. What we did is we parked certain vehicles with no renewal by paying the taxes. Actually, there is an option called a no use option in the vehicles. So we opted for some of the vehicles as a non-use vehicles, so that there will not be any additional cost on those particular vehicles. But in Q3, all the vehicles were used, and apart from that, we hired some of the more outside vehicles also. That's why the lorry charges also increased in quarter 3.
No percentage can be specified on 3Q versus 2Q. Percentage wise, sir, anything, any number?
About lorry hire charges?
No, sir, it's okay. I think lorry hire charges you have already provided, so that's fine. So second question was more on the fleet addition side. So this is what the follow-up was. Given that you're doing a buyback right now, does that mean that there's not going to be any fleet addition plans over the medium term, given you're also focusing on tonnage going forward?
Basically, see, for capex plans for 2021-22 is we are planning to invest around 150 crores for the entire year. That's what the plan is. Out of that, we are going to add around 414 goods transport vehicles.
Okay.
And some of the around 40 plus number of buses also we are planning, because some of the again further number of buses will be reduced on account of the fulfillment of the license period, or license will be expired. To maintain that segment in selective routes, we have to add around 40 plus buses also. And the goods transport vehicle, we are planning to add around 400 plus. So total capex for the next financial year, we are planning at around 150 crores. Out of that, the debt will be around 50% and balance will be funded through internal approvals.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Vikram Suryavanshi from Phillip Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir, and congratulations for good performance. Most of questions are answered, but can you share what was the average realization in passenger segment and basically realization growth?
You want quarter-on-quarter realization or how it is?
YOY?
Yeah. Yeah, about bus segment, the revenue is number of buses actually is reduced by around 22 numbers, and increase in number of passenger YOY it is minus 72%.
Okay.
And realization per passenger is improved hardly around 1%.
Okay. Would it be possible for in rupees per passenger or average route?
Yeah, it is increased from 1,062 rupees to 1,073 rupees
Okay.
for a 9 months period. And if you see the quarter-on-quarter, year-on-year, it is increased from 1,032 to, it is decreased actually, 1,032 to 1,002 rupees. It's minus of 2.94%. And quarter-on-quarter, still the realization is lesser because again we concentrated to increase more number of passengers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And just one clarification, if you look at most of growth is from pricing and tonnage growth obviously is happening, but relatively at a gradual pace. So from non-use of almost 700 vehicles, so we are now having almost using our fleet as well as outsourcing. So is there an impact on fuel factor or return cargo, or can you just highlight how is the actual vessel utilization compared to Q2 and Q3?
No, basically when we start hiring the outside vehicle, it means that always our vehicles operation levels reached at a maximum level or 100% utilization. And hired vehicle always we use for one side. Say wherever load is allowed, say from Surat to Chennai, if load is available, then we engage outside vehicle only from Surat to Chennai. From Chennai to Surat, again, we don't know how that vehicle, because it is outside vehicle, will not have a contact for return loads. So that's how actually we always engage outside vehicle on a spot basis. But with respect to our own vehicles, always we'll see that wherever possible, the both return loads, then only we put our vehicles over in those routes.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Rishit Shah from Dhanki Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning. So congrats on the good set of numbers. So first thing, basically, I wanted to ask about the fuel prices. So as you said, currently the fuel prices, basically you are able to pass it on based on the realization increase as well as control of fixed costs. But going forward, if we see any further similar kind of increase, so will we be able to pass it on any further because of the price competition or because the fixed costs have been saved at a great extent right now?
Yeah, basically, one is since we are more focused on increasing tonnage, and definitely the tonnage if starts increasing at an expected level, then again the percentage of fixed expenses will come down. So depending on that position, if fuel prices increase within that range, then definitely no need to increase any freight rates. If at all the fuel rate changes beyond expected level, then obviously again we have to increase the rates. Since it is applicable to whole industry, then everybody has to take a call on that. And moreover, we are having advantage in fuel cost that one is about the biodiesel, that quantity we can increase. And apart from that, since we are having our own fuel pumps, we buy some of the fuel from the refinery unit. Those quantity can be increased. So these are some of the avenues available for us to have a control on fuel cost compared to other operators.
Correct. So maybe from January onwards, as you say, the biofuel consumption is getting back to normal.
Yeah, it is going
Get
to
back
improve.
to around 40% levels, 35-40% levels.
Average, it will be around 25 to 30% average.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and secondly, so as we saw, there is a great deal of reduction in the debt that we have. So
Yeah.
what is the kind of impact that we expect on the interest cost going forward?
Interest cost, our cost of funding on an average around 8.5% to 9%. Around 8.5%. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, whatever reduction on that, 8.5% savings will be there.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. And the last thing, basically, I was in the budget. So the finance minister announced basically they're eyeing to increase the overall model share of railways in the transportation to around 40% from maybe say 25% currently. So maybe this is
Which
a long.
one?
So they are looking to increase the share of railways in the overall transportation from 25 to 40%.
Yeah.
This is a long-term goal. So
Yeah.
what kind of impact that can have on our operations in the long term?
See, basically, one thing I would like to highlight is still this industry is contributing, by a lot of these unorganized people. So considering this, even during the pandemic and the post-pandemic period, still some of the unorganized people they are facing problem and they are unable to come at a normal level. So these are the situations and others because of the scrappage policy and other kind of stuff what the government is changing policies frequently. This industry is going to convert from unorganized to organized. So since the unorganized contribution still it has around 75 to 80% level, there is a scope to everyone, be it organized level as well as the railways. So depending on that, the overall plus industry size will also improve depending on the growth in the economy. Since everybody is having a scope, so the consolidation process will be always on over next period of next couple of years.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shrenik Bachawat from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Hi, so thanks for the opportunity. So could you please throw light on which sectors are the added clients in, and on overall tonnage, which sectors we have seen healthy traction from?
So basically about textile I mentioned. Textile we put something special effort in Surat and as well as the receivable market in some of the south market as well as the north western market as well as the northeast areas also. There actually we added a lot of new customers, but in spite of that we are unable to reach the normal contribution but from that segment because of the there is no degrowth in that particular segment. And apart from that, there are a lot of improvements in the new clients added in the agriculture sector. That is another plus point. And apart from that, say some of the clients we added in other sectors like a lot of these the routine usage of the vehicles, the consumer goods, or including the paints and all these things, the FMCG and paint section also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Neerav from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir, and thank you very much for the opportunity. So my first question pertains to the availability of drivers. So, sir, just wanted to check how is the scenario on that front, because I believe at the start of lockdown there were a lot of issues with regards to availability of labor, especially trained drivers. So any update on that?
Yeah, see, in second quarter I mentioned that we are having some of the excess drivers also because of our efforts we are in a position to get the sufficient drivers. So even during this period, yes, there is a shortage of drivers, but it is not beyond around 4 to 5%. And again, we are putting an effort to bring drivers from various areas to see that there will not be any shortage of the drivers.
Get your point.
But if you see the industry-wise, again, the people are facing a lot of problems because of the shortage of drivers.
That is exactly, because that was the biggest concern, because loaders, unloaders, drivers, they were very difficult to get and they were all shifted to rural places?
In our case, average it is around 2 to 3%. And there will be some fluctuation depending on the seasons, and because of this, again the marriage seasons and all started. Again, some of the drivers will go back to their family functions and all. Again, they will come back. But it is under totally controlled manner. It is not that we are facing this problem forever.
Right. So my second question pertains to specifically towards the cargo container movement, which was happening earlier via trucks and those kind of things. So amid the lockdown, and there were a lot of issues with regards to state borders. So several shipping lines were requesting their clients to shift their cargo from road to rail. So do you think that can be a continuing trend, or that can have an impact on our business?
No, actually, there were some routes started here also in Karnataka, say from Bangalore to Solapur. The railway line has been started. But if you won't believe, the delay which used to cost through railway is much, much higher as compared to the transportation of vehicle by road. And what they did initially, they started weekly 2 days, then 3 days. So nobody can do like that. It should be a continuous journey. It should be like a scheduled journey. See, for us also, the hub-to-hub movement, always we have to keep vehicle movement on the daily basis. The moment, even the short delay, it will cause delay in the entire journey.
Get your point.
That's why it is very, very, very time-sensitive business.
Yes.
So even railway, if at all they want to improve, they have to concentrate on more on these things.
Get your point, sir. Sir, and my last question is sir, now with regards to tariffs that we are able to charge for our cargo transportation business. So because we are organized and we are able to deliver much in time as compared to small and unorganized players, are we able to charge any kind of a premium to our customers for the brand value or the commitment of the size of organization that we have?
Yeah, compared to say the unorganized market, yes, we are charging the premium because we give additional service to the customers. One is the transit time will be lower, and apart from that, we give storage facility to our customers at a delivery point. In each and every of our delivery points are having a storage facility. So first thing, we give a 7 days free storage facility for other than cloth consignment. For cloth consignment, we give a free storage facility even up to 60 days. So these are all add-on services which the unorganized people cannot offer to the customers. That's why we charge a premium rate. And when it compared to other organized players, depending on the route, actually we compete with them. And accordingly, our freight rate will be fixed.
Great, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity and all that.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kaustav Bubna from Rare Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So the first question was, last quarter you had mentioned something about getting to almost zero net debt by the end of Q4. So are you still on track with that?
Yeah, see, again, on account of this buyback, there will be funds which should be categorized to buyback also. So considering that, it will not happen.
So do we still see reduction? How do we see this net debt going forward?
Net debt, more or less, it will be at a similar level. You can say 60 crores. Immediately after this buyback, since that entire internal accruals, whatever we park, that will be used for buyback now. So on account of that, again, the debt number will increase. When again, the cash flows of the companies are good now. And again, the January, February, March, we don't have any capex. So this entire cash flow, roughly, it will be in the range of around 18 to 20 crores per month. That will be again used for the repayment of the debt.
Okay, great. And one more question. See, I noticed if you look at your segmental results, there are a lot of like your bus operations, which is margin ballpark for your goods transport business. And if that, so right now you're at about 19.5%, right, for the goods transport business EBITDA margin. So let's say some of those expenses come back, still higher than your FY20 margin level, which was around 14%. and let's say your bus operations EBITDA also comes back, which was around 50 crores in FY20, should we comfortably, and let's say these small businesses also they're very meaningless, but still 2-3 crores still adds to your EBITDA and your transport of passengers by etc. And so my main question is that is it fair to assume that your FY22 EBITDA would be reasonably higher than your FY20 EBITDA?
Yeah, definitely it will be much higher as compared to FY20 because whatever we shown our performance in quarter 2 and quarter 3, these are, especially in goods transport segments, hardly around 1 or 2% here and there, but this is a sustainable margin. And apart from that, the bus is at a lowest operating margin as of now. Now, whatever things will happen, again, it will be improvement in the bus segment.
So in FY22, can you get back to, because in quarter 4 FY20, you had an impact of COVID.
Correct.
A little bit, right? So that 1 quarter of bus operation EBITDA is also missing.
Yes.
Which was only 6 crores. So can you get back to above 50 crores of EBITDA in FY22? Let's say there's no more lockdown, but obviously if there's a lockdown,
comfortably, even in bus segment, we can do EBITDA at around 14-15% on the revenue.
Okay. And what would be sustainable EBITDA margin levels for goods transport business going into FY22, and what would you estimate as revenue growth rates for this goods transport business going into FY22?
Considering the present margin trend, definitely the 17-18% margin even at 22 is not an issue in goods transport. When it comes to growth, yes, again we are putting a lot of efforts for increasing tonnage. If the things are continued, then definitely we can see the double-digit growth.
Okay, and in second half FY21, you still because last quarter you had guided that second half FY21 will show reasonable growth over second half FY20. So for that, next quarter should be a good growth quarter. How is tonnage growth shaping up for quarter 4?
Yeah, we will show some growth even in Q4.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhargava from MK Global. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to know, were there any new truck additions in quarter 3? And assuming that you had told that there was you had hired additional outside vehicles, so should I assume that it was 100% utilization level in trucks?
Yes. There were no addition in trucks in quarter 3. And that's why the lorry charges has been increased by around 2% to the revenue in quarter 3. Because we have to cover more kilometers after utilization of 100% utilization of our own vehicles.
Okay. And sir, you had told that the investment for the entire year would be 150 crore. So this is for FY21 or the next year?
No, next year I said. FY21 and 22.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dipesh from Equirus. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Sunil sir. Congrats on good results. Sir, you have reduced your number of branches and agencies this year, and this quarter also you have closed 2 hubs. So this year clearly was a one-off year, but what is the strategy in terms of branch and hub expansions going forward as you're looking to increase the tonnage?
Right now, based on certain branch performance study and all, wherever there are certain weak branches, we have closed. But there will not be a further closure of branches, but there will be some addition of the branches in the next financial year. And transshipment hub, it is basically, it depends on the connectivity of the roads and all. Say, for example, in Hyderabad, earlier we used to have 2 hubs, now we consolidated into 1. But overall, it will not make. It depends on the operational basically connectivity and the availability of the area. So the increase or decrease in transshipment hub is not a considerable thing because it is just to change in the process or change in the efficiency or improvement. But about the branches, yes. Because since during this period we studied the branch performance and accordingly we decided to close some of the branches. But depending on some of the newer areas also we are thinking and accordingly the number of branches will be increased in the next year.
So, but the
It is
broad idea
completely based on the proper study and all these things. If it is feasible, then only we'll add. Otherwise, no.
Understood, sir. But the broad idea, sir, is that the branches should increase and the agencies should come down, right? Is that understanding correct?
Yeah. That way, for anyway, whatever new branches we are entering, we are not giving to agents. And wherever possible, we are cut downing the agents because their performance is not at a expected. See, we'll study the market. If they are unable to perform depending on the market, then better we'll convert those agencies into branches.
Understood. The second question is how many of your vehicles, and more importantly, how much of the capacity will be above 15 years of age? And the 400 vehicles that you're adding next year, how much in terms of capacity addition is going to happen, sir?
Yeah, most of these vehicles, average you can say around 20 tons, 24 tons per vehicle. And some of the smaller vehicles also, it is a mix of both.
Okay.
But average you can assume around 20 tons per vehicle. And with respect to 15 years and above, we are having currently around 850 vehicles.
And then in terms of capacity, there must be a smaller ton.
Yeah, all these are smaller capacity vehicles in the range of around 12 to 15 tons.
Okay, understood. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. The next question on the line of Prateek Kumar from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, sir. My first question is, like this 1% tonnage growth, how should we understand this? Like if we like just see it like during the month, did it accelerate like during the month, and we should see like much higher tonnage growth in Q4? This and like just following up on this is like how different region contributed to this growth during the quarter?
Basically, December we did a much better tonnage compared to even October, November. And the similar trend we are hoping. See, January again, there were some seasons, but there were some weakness in some of the routes also. But February again, the trend is good.
Like this 1% would be like 5% growth in December. Like if you just want to see growth month on month.
Year on year, yes, there will be a growth better than Q3 as compared to Q4 of last year. If you see the year-on-year Q4 performance, in terms of tonnage, it will be better than last year Q4.
I mean, sir, better so anyway is expected because like our economy is like, I mean, turn around like significantly. But I mean,
I cannot put exact percentage here. It is better than Q3 growth of 1%.
Okay, it is better than Q3.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, and sir, secondly, on this bus operations, this 45% decline in revenue this quarter. So there's 3% decline in the realization, and rest is the decline in passengers. So 45% decline in passengers numbers.
Year on year?
Yeah, year on year.
Yeah.
So 41% is passengers negative and 3% is decline in realization.
Year on year, the number of passengers is reduced to around 37%.
And realization number, if you can confirm.
And the realization it is reduced by around 3%. See, some mismatch in overall revenue is there because of the drastic change in the passenger and realization.
Right. And you, sir, on regions, if you can highlight like which regions have been like positively contributing to growth versus like second quarter.
See, about second quarter to third quarter, the key highlights are one is there are improvements in all the areas. See, earlier in quarter two, what happened? Still in some of the areas there were lockdowns, especially in Maharashtra and some of the parts in West Bengal or even in Delhi area and all. Actually, we faced, some of the, depending on the pandemic or COVID situation, the local governments have put certain lockdown procedures. But that was not the situation in quarter three. Most of the areas are opened, and again, we are in a position to do business from all the geography. And again, in quarter three also there were certain disturbances in Delhi surrounding area. Again, still it is continuing because of this farmer unrest and all. So that impact is not a major impact as of now. And there are certain delays in those areas because of the strikes and disturbances. Our services were delayed. And once it is resolved, again there will be further improvement on the operations, we can say.
Sure, sir. I'll get back to the queue. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in this conference, we request you to limit your questions to 2 per participant only. The next question is on the line of Manish from General. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, in the bus operations, a lot of the players in the unorganized sector have shut shop, and basically in Karnataka we have only one big competitor, and that also has been hit very hard. So you think in the future we may gain market share?
Yeah, definitely. But see, as of now, the situation, still we are unable to, charge more passenger, charge more to the passenger. Basically, the realization still it is under, that kind of, the ground is not yet created, you can say. Because if the demand is more, definitely.
But maybe 6 months down the line?
Yeah, definitely. We are hoping that after March, the things are going to change.
Sir, another small question.
Yeah.
In FY22, can we expect 8 to 10% tonnage growth at the same realization rates?
Yeah, we are expecting, but overall the growth will be the double-digit growth.
Overall, realization plus tonnage.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mukesh Saraf from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. Firstly, again on this tonnage growth, 1% that we have reported. So we have lost market share this quarter. Is that fair to say?
No. It's a gain in market share, you can say.
Okay, so the industry tonnage is negative still in the third quarter, sir? Because, generally, look at various sectors, the production levels have all gone up significantly YOY. So, with 1% tonnage growth, we still say that we have gained market share?
Yeah. See, I highlighted about the textile.
Yeah, textile was one, but in general, overall, if I look at it, you think that industry is still negative?
Yes.
Okay. And so in the past, like we've seen that for us, there is generally a kind of a negative pricing and volumes. And in this call also you had mentioned that your focus is on volume. So have we started some bit of, this discounting, or have customers come back to us asking for a lower pricing already, say in the month of January, February? Are you already seeing that trend?
No, basically, see, what we are doing is we are more concentrating on the route-wise analysis. And apart from that, wherever we are getting a big contract, say monthly billing is beyond certain threshold limit, then we are offering certain concessions in rates. So there actually what will happen, the moment we get a high volume from the single customers or something, definitely our operational cost will be lesser.
Right.
The utilization
so not like
or same branch will handle more tonnage. So on account of this, obviously there will be reduction in the operational cost also. That we can pass it on to the customer.
Okay, and again on the operational cost, like 85 odd crores of employee costs that we are at this quarter, that number can stay as it is, 85 crores?
Yeah, there will be, yes, quarter three again, see whatever we used to reduce in salaries, that has been, from October 1st onwards, we started giving the normal salary. So more or less this amount will continue.
Can stay. Okay.
Yeah, it will stay.
Right. And just lastly, this 400 vehicles that we are adding next year, what would be the net addition? Because we'll also be retiring some vehicles, in the normal course of business. So Net addition would be around how much, sir?
This year we scrapped around 100 plus vehicles, and
Okay.
so again, wherever after this, it depends on again the scrappage policy, how the government is going to notify.
No. I mean, not looking at the scrappage policy, but apart, I mean, other than
without that, again in the normal course, around 50-60 vehicles scrappage will be there in the normal
okay,
course.
another 50-60. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, sir. Thank you. That's it from me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Laksh Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Sunil. Thank you for taking my questions. I just wanted to understand that after the budget, which sectors do you see your growth opportunities coming from in the near future?
See, after the budget, basically what is happening, they are boosting MSME. Actually, they are boosting very hard.
Okay.
Since our clientele is many of these kind of a sector, we are also definitely hoping that it is going to support us a lot.
Okay.
The MSME, basically, we cannot specifically categorize based on the product wise or nature of the industry. But all commodities, wherever, even in our, if you see the total customer base, see with the account customer, that's what we call a corporate, it contributes around 18 to 20% to the revenue. But around 60-70% of our business is from the small industry operators or MSME sector. So boosting to that MSME operator, definitely it is going to help to us.
Okay. So just another question. You had said that.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Ankit Panchmatia from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question and thanks for the follow-up. Sir, I wanted a small data point about the average leads which we used to share earlier. Can we share for this quarter as well?
Which one?
The leads covered or the kilometers traveled. We used to share this data earlier, I think.
Yeah. You want GT kilometer?
Yes, sir.
See, overall, the goods transport kilometer increased by around 20%.
Okay. Sir, I just want to understand the whole thought process of adding a higher tonnage vehicle. Is it more to do regards
this
to
is on quarter basis. Excuse me.
Oh, the GT kilometers.
Yeah. And year on year basis, it is around 5%.
5% higher.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And continuing to my question, sir, understanding the whole thought process of adding a higher ton vehicle, is it more to do or is it more to strengthen our hub-to-hub movement, or how are we seeing the demand side of it? Are we analyzing that post this or the benefits of GST would tend to percolate over the next 2-3 years? How are we planning this tonnage additions, or which ton category we should add the capacities to?
Basically, whenever we add the vehicles, basically we will consider that always it will be for the longer routes. Yes, whatever existing vehicles are operating in the longer route, that can be again rescheduled to operate at a little lesser or initially long distance, and again the next level of distance like that. So like that we are having a various slabs. Accordingly, we put the vehicles. The new vehicle always will go for a longer vehicle. Then the vehicles which are operating in a longer vehicle, it will come to next level. And like that, always we schedule the vehicles accordingly depending on the age of the vehicle. And wherever we add a smaller vehicle, it will be for the local operations.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Laksh Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, Sunil. Actually, I wanted to understand one more thing. So you said that you have gained quite a few clients in the textile sector, but unfortunately, they haven't been able to contribute as much to the revenue. So I just wanted to understand why is that and how you are combating it.
Because still the demand is not so high in textiles.
Okay. So, okay, understood. Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Simranjeet from SMC Global Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Sir, I just want to understand, can you give some guidance that what will be your top line growth in the FY22 and in terms of the EBITDA means in FY22, if you can throw some light on that.
No, I already highlighted about the segment wise also. I highlighted about the growth in top line also. You can refer.
Okay, that is yeah. So means that is in terms of FY21 or FY20 you have guided for. Means over the. Okay. No, means FY22 in comparison to FY21 or FY20.
In comparison to FY20.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Mitra from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. So, I had one question on your Surat, hub. If you can sort of point out the profitability that you are seeing now at the EBITDA level, has it turned profitable, and what are the sort of how do you feel it to sort of move over the next few quarters?
Yeah, definitely it has turned a positive EBITDA number. And basically what we did, another change in the Surat is we added a lot of the small offices in Surat, basically the booking offices, so that it will help again the book at a very nearest place to the customers and again send it to the transshipment hub. And just I would like to mention that during this festival in Q3, it was a sudden jump in the demand for some few days. So some of the transporters were unable to book the consignments because of sudden growth in the demand. Only for some very few days. But only we accepted goods from each and every consignment customers, and we are in a position to reach those goods to the customers. Only because of that facility we can say. So once the sustainable growth comes in textile market, definitely that will support us lost. One is about increasing tonnage as well as to maintain the growth in the tonnage also.
And the capex that you have incurred, you feel by when you can sort of achieve a either
other than see, if you assume that this pandemic was not there, we are in a position to have a parallel level of our returns on investment what we are investing in other assets also. But again, there will be shift because of the shift of 1 year because of this pandemic. So next 1 year again, the level of returns on those investments will be parallel to the other investment what we are doing.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for the closing comments.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for each and every participant for their patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now